always explain it to people like this, like, dude, you could come here with 20 grand or 25 grand, and I could build you like the coolest bike. And you could put on some dirty shit and like go around and pretend to be Billy Bad Boy. And you know what? People might buy it. You could never do it with a skateboard. I could sell you the most epic fucking board ever, and you could show up at the skate park with the fucking coolest Lakais or whatever they are, and you're gonna drop in and everyone's gonna know right away that you're a fucking phony. But I know what you're talking about, the costume party. I didn't do it that bad with motorcycles, but like the denim vest and the engineer boots, and you're like, okay, man, this is my new gig. You know, I'm a biker now. And then how long does that last? Yeah. We're skaters, so we know, like, God, what a fuck. You catch your reflection, and you're like, I'm such a fucking dork. But there are so many people that are so righteous about that, you know? They're like, well, I'm a fucking biker now, dude. You know? And you're like, okay, well, I'm still a skater that's into motorcycles.
Yeah.
Skating is still not the most fucking radical activity, of course.
Yeah.
I always say that.
What's up? Welcome back to the Epically Latered Show. This week's episode's about Max Schaff. He's a pro skater for real from Oakland. I went up and met up with him. We drove around and looked at some of the Oakland scene, some of the ramps he used to live at. Widowmaker, his ramp he had at his mom's house. I think he's really interesting. I think he's like pretty legendary veteran pro. We also looked at his garage. 4Q Conditioning, that's his motorcycle company. He's been building old Harleys. He's got pretty sweet bikes.
Oh, I'm here.
Wish I had one. So I hope you enjoy the show. See you soon.
So in Yokohama, they have like the biggest hot rod show in Japan, and they invite a couple hot rod people and they invite a couple bike people. They were like, oh, you've got to go. And they wanted me to bring this bike, which is this bike that I guess they like in Japan. You know, instantly people like focus on these exhaust pipes because they're twisted. And you can see the welds, like you can see all the work that went into them. All the little brass accents. It's an old seat. I think people see like kind of how homemade it is, so I think people kind of like that. And it's an old thing, and Japanese people seem to have such a respect for old things. Like, this was made in 1947. Like, they have a respect for something old. Like, they treat their elders better over there. But there, it's like a culture, and if you're into bikes, you're really into bikes. Here, a lot of people have old bikes, and they, like, don't really ride them anywhere. It's like a thing. Like, I got this old car, and I got this old bike, whatever. In Japan, they ride their vintage bikes. So the parking lot of the show, there was like 1,000 old Harleys that people rode. You know, I didn't realize quite how big it was, but I mean, there's a shitload of people in there. The scene in Japan is like something the American scene should aspire to. I'm glad that they like what I'm doing, because what they're doing is so cool. My dad had bikes, my mom has a bike, but they're not bikers. And I remember saying, don't ever get an old car or a motorcycle because they're money pits. Then when I got older and whatever, I did just what I said I wouldn't do and got into old bikes and piece of shit cars. It was Chris's chopper shop. So, you know, Chris did all the anti-hero series, those graphics and stuff, wow. And the Trujillo box. Yeah, I didn't know Chris through skating or anything like that, dude. We'd see each other at the coffee shop for like a year or something, and then one day we broke down and hung out or went to a swap meet or something, and he was wanting to put a bike together, and then it all came about. He's my most loyal friend for hunting down parts and hunting down bikes. We have the same disease.
Where do you guys usually find parts at?
Just Craigslist, word of mouth.
It's insane.
A lot of hard times people up here.
Yeah. He's plugged himself into some tweaker dens and just come out with fucking frames and motors and all kinds of stuff.
That's like a dual elephant dick right there.
But yeah, this is what we hunt down, dude. All the shit you saw on my walls, all the shit hanging in here. and it's all a big deal to us, you know? You got the hit. Wow.
I get into it, but you know, Max, he's way into it. I mean, he spends all day on these things, and yeah, you know, it's a fun hobby.
You find the frame and it's like, dude, I'm out in Concord right now in this dude's basement and he's got fucking seats and frames. It's fucking unreal. You know, you'd think you won the lottery or something, but it's just so fun finding this shit. It's 60 years old. We'll give each other like a little pep talk before we go in the, all right, dude, so this is what we know this dude has and here's how we have to approach this.
You just gotta just show your poker face.
Going into some dude's garage like this that's like 68 and hasn't showered in fucking 5 years and you're just like looking at the most amazing shit ever and you got to play it cool. You're like, oh, what do you want for that? Oh, what's it worth? I had a swap meet. I picked up the tank and I was like, hey man, how much do you want for this gas cap? And he's like, the tank is $20. And I was like, well, okay, it comes with the cap. And he's like, yeah. So I bought the tank for the cap, but like, and then he told me some story like that was a known Hells Angels bike that cap came off of. And I was like, oh, cool, yeah, right on. That's nuts, like cocaine machine. There's a crazy history with Hells Angels in Oakland. It didn't start here, but it's one of the founding places. Those are people that live by their own set of rules. And what they did in the 60s, like they challenged laws and they challenged freedom. It's appealing to me. I'm not tough enough to do that. That's the truth. I have that sticker on there because my friend gave it to me. That's a Hells Angel, and I have a lot of respect for it. Sometimes when I'm on the road with like John and that Peabody kid and Julian and those anti-hero guys, like this is as close as like outlaw living as it gets. And I remember seeing certain trips like, fuck, good God, I don't skate for anti-hero, man. That trip looks fucking gnarly. Drinking, all the other shit those guys get into, not caring about what anyone thinks. It's a pretty romantic idea. And I realize why people are so attracted to it. It's so raw. Not many people get to live the life like some of those guys get to live. Thank God Julian started Anti-Hero and I get to be a part of that, you know, indirectly.